Okay, so Group A has come to its final conclusion. Now, I had a choice with two games. I could have watched the Netherlands batter Qatar. I chose to watch the game that actually is the game with meaning in the group to decide who finished second. It was between Ecuador and Senegal. Senegal have come out on top 2-1 and will most likely be playing England in the next round, although we just do not know what's going to happen tonight in the two games in Group B. Ecuador, as the group has progressed, their performances have tailed off and they've got worse each time. So they start off with a win. They were in second gear at best against Qatar. They could have had 6 or 7 in game one. Then they play the Dutch and they get a draw, and it was a good evenly fought contest. And then they play Senegal and were absolutely appalling for lengthy spells. Let's break it down. Now, the opening 5-10 minutes was so open. It was good to see. As a neutral, it was fun to watch. Both sides knowing that a win guarantees them progress to the next round. Ecuador, all they need is a draw, but hey, going out to win is a better mindset than playing for a draw. And I think for a lengthy spell, as the game wore on, Ecuador their mind was, well, we're already there. We just got to play for a 0-0, which is the wrong mindset to have. You should go into every game going, right, let's go out and win. Or just go out and if you know you're the underdog, no fear. Just go out and play. When you play more conservatively or you try and play for a draw or don't go for it, you're actually more likely to lose, ironically. But having the mindset of we want to try and win and give it a go, you're more likely, yeah, okay, you might lose 4-0 or 5-0 or whatever it is. Or you might actually get that 1-0 or 2-1 result that you need that Senegal ended up getting. So the penalty is a stonewall penalty. There's no VAR for that. That is pretty much a shoulder charge. Fantastic. Ismail Assar scores the penalty on 44 minutes. And basically, up to this point, apart from the first 5-10 minutes, Ecuador have been shocking. Both sides were very open in the first 5-10 minutes, and then Ecuador decided to go, we'll play for a draw. Their intensity dropped off, their passing became sloppy, their marking became sloppy, and Senegal, although their finishing was wild, and they had a few shots on target, their finishing was wayward. They're creating the opportunities, Ecuador aren't. You could see where the momentum was going, and the penalty, Ismail Assar scoring the penalty is a culmination of that momentum firmly in Senegal's favour. That they are, knowing that a draw is not good enough, they have to win to guarantee them, progression to the next round. And then it's half time, literally on the stroke of half time, the penalty scored. But Ecuador were just. And to be fair, Senegal was sloppy as well, but Ecuador were playing into Senegal's hands. They were too passive. Their press was all over the place. But then Senegal would make sloppy errors, and there was a lot of free kicks, unnecessary fouls, unnecessary free kicks to give away, which disrupted the flow. Maybe Senegal wanted that because they have been sort of misfiring to a certain extent. They haven't made the knockout stages for 20 years. So to get back into the knockout stages is to get over a big hurdle. The second half, again, much like the first. And then Senegal give away a sloppy free kick. And one thing that Ecuador were very, very good at in qualifying was they scored the most goals in the South American section. I think actually in all sections for the various like CONMEBOL, FIFA, UEFA, CONCACAF, the various continental confederations. They scored the most goals from free kicks and corners. So what happens? They score a goal from a free kick. Moses Caicedo. It's a brilliant finish. But it comes from a free kick. They win the contest and it's blasted into the back of the net. And then suddenly, game on. Hey, Ecuador and the momentum swung back to them. And then they give away their own foul at the other end, almost straight away. And Koulibaly, captain's knock, probably the best player on the field. In defence and his finish in attack, a centre forward would be happy with that. It's a brilliant finish from a centre back who's not renowned for his goal scoring. Let's just say that blasts it past the keeper, and again it's from a free kick. And the marking for both free kicks is absolutely diabolical. So set plays, I think, for Senegal against most likely England, although we don't know who's going to win Group B as of yet because in theory, it's still wide open. Could be an area where they are vulnerable. But there you go. It's these fine, silly fouls. So the silly foul for the Caicedo goal from the free kick, silly foul for the Koulibaly goal from the free kick. And that was a lot of this game, was a lot of repetitive, niggly fouls that were unnecessary. Then suddenly, Ecuador get desperate, and they are starting to throw the kitchen sink at it, and Senegal start retreating and falling back and falling back. But on the counter attack, they look dangerous. But it's again that final ball. They're rushing the pass to get out of danger. Again, unnecessary fouls by both sides. So this wasn't an end-to-end classic, very open end-to-end game. This was a scrappy, bitty, niggly game, but with the passion and with the energy, and you could see the desperation on Ecuador at the end. But it's the mentality I had at the beginning of the game that has let them down in this match. Senegal had the right mentality, but by the end of the game, they're now getting their game management could have been better. They could have got that third. If they get that third, or even get that second when they're 1-0 up, the situation is completely different. They're in a much more comfortable situation. So game management was poor, and Ecuador's mindset was poor. So out of it, it was an entertaining game to watch in the sense of there's nervousness, there's tension. You don't know what's going to happen next. But on a technical standpoint, and even on a neutral viewing standpoint, it wasn't the best spectacle. If the first 5-10 minutes had stayed like that for the whole 90, that this could have been a 5-6 or a 7-5 or a really high scoring end to end open game. In the end, it was a scrappy 2-1, but hey, Senegal fans will take that. They've made the knockout stages for the first time in 20 years, only for the second time in their World Cup history. And Ecuador have blown a golden opportunity to make it through to the second round. And if England, let's say, get a scrappy draw against Wales, Ecuador could have fancied their chances. Now, Senegal will go into that game, most likely against England, as underdogs. If it's against someone like the USA or Iran, they're probably favourites. But against England, if England get through as group winners, they're most likely going in as underdogs, which they probably were going into this game. And I think that suits them a little bit, not being expected to do much because of recent World Cup history not being great. African Cup of Nations not really necessarily going great in recent times, although obviously winning it most recently. Missing Sadio Mane, key crucial component to their high press and their forward attack. So this is not the strongest Senegal side, and this is not the best Senegal side. However, in the last year and a half, 2 years, yeah, the improvement's been there. For the previous 18 years after 2002, they've been all sort of all over the place and not consistent enough. But hey, we'll see what happens in the second round. Anyway, Senegal have made it out of Group A. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts in the comment section below, and I will have some more content for you very, very soon.